Evening, everyone. Very welcome to our second half-week event of today. And before we start, I would like to show you guys a very quick video, 28 seconds, that goes very well with today's talk. So Anna, if you could quickly share your screen again and show us the video. Okay. All right. The transmission is not ideal, but it's about the message of the video. That was me 9 years ago. I was a ski driver, very ambitious to once become a professional athlete. But as you can see, I'm here at INSEAD and I never made it really. I fell in this video. You couldn't really see it because the transmission was so bad. And in the competition, I was never really able to bring my performance to the finishing line. I couldn't really perform. Even though I was very good in the training courses, I could deliver. But when it comes to the competition, I wasn't able to cope under stress, under pressure. And I think some of you have most certainly experienced the same feeling. And that's great. That's why we are here today, because we have someone here who is able to change that. That's our speaker, Alain. Alain was a coach for Olympic athletes. He's currently an executive coach for large companies such as Adidas. And with his firm, Mentally Fit, he empowers people to better manage his personal energy and to cope with stress. Alain, we are very happy and very grateful to have you here tonight. And yeah, to show appreciation for our guest speakers, let's welcome him with a warm round of applause.
Thank you, Luca. So you were an ambitious past future Olympic skier.
Past ski driver, yes.
Yeah, but failure is a good teacher. And when you fail, you learn much more than when you succeed. And it's important that we integrate trials and errors, failures, mistakes in the learning process. So before we succeed in sport, there are many, many trials and many, many errors. So, of course, we have to accept with humility that error is part of the learning process. So, for us, it's key. We call that efficient imperfection. What is the opposite of efficient imperfection? Let me share my screen. Screen sharing, you should see my screen. Yeah, yes, I'm a coach. Huh? I'm not a professor. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a consultant, I'm not a trainer, I'm a coach. You will never see a coach at halftime, you know that sign, timeout, using slides and PowerPoint and a beamer to coach the team. Okay, it's always very spontaneous, it's on the spot. It's not something that you prepare in advance. So I didn't know that I should see the drama of Luca failing on ski. So we have to build on that. And that's coaching. Coaching starts with the white page. And from the white page, we build something which is relevant for you. It's not something that I need to tell you today. It's what do you need to perform better, to manage pressure, to manage your energy. So it will be quite interactive. And the white page helped me to make it more interactive because nothing is prepared in advance. Of course, I have one or two ideas, things that I should share with you, but mainly, it will be the inspiration of the moment that will create the content. So the first topic, we call that efficient imperfection. What is the opposite of efficient imperfection?
Efficient perfection.
Well done. Yeah. Always congratulate the players when they are doing well. So you can also challenge and stretch them when they don't do well. So the opposite is inefficient perfection. I did coach many top athletes which were inefficient because looking for perfection. And that's too much. So of course, the video was really bad. It was a succession of pictures. Was it efficient? No, not even. So shame on you, Luca. Guys, when we are doing well, we congratulate. When we are not doing well, we say, why? Why didn't you repeat before? What did happen? And so on. And so learning, that's a good example of failure. Not the fact that he failed with the ski, but the fact that he failed with the presentation. That's interesting. When you fail twice, then that's too much. I understand why you stopped your career. That's coaching. You see, we are not, as a coach, the coach is not there to please the players. The coach is not there to please the organizer. We are here to stretch you, to say, how can we grow together? How can we go to the Olympics? How can we win the gold medal? And it's all about stretch. And failure and learning are part of the process. I remember that famous sentence of Nelson Mandela. You know, sometimes you win. Sometimes you win. What is the other part? And sometimes you learn. And that's the past. Sometimes you will, sometimes you learn. Roger Federer, you know Roger Federer, the famous Roger. I was a tennis coach for 20 years. So for 20 years, I was coaching top tennis players, professional players. I should be in Australia, in Melbourne today, coaching a player in the quarter or in the semi-final. I was coaching the Belgian tennis players for 20 years. So it was really inspiring because we did produce in the 90s, in the 2000s, many young athletes like Justine Henin, Kim Clijsters, Xavier Malisse, Dominique Monami Van Roo. So we did produce talented players. My role, my contribution was mental coaching. I was not the technical coach. You know, when you have to develop the potential, the full potential of a player, you develop three parts. The technical part, using a video or skiing, the technical part of skiing. The physical part, is my body ready to make it happen? And what is not technical and physical is mental, emotional, spiritual. My contribution was coaching the non-technical part and the non-physical part. And those moments of pressure and stress are part of the mental coaching. When you play the match point in tennis, you have seen a match point. It's not a question of technique. It's not in the racket that it will happen. It's in your mind, in your guts, in your heart. There you have to manage feelings. When you have to shoot a decisive penalty in football, soccer, the last minute of the game, it's not a question of technique. The goal is so large, it's impossible to miss. But your mind, your brain can make you miss. So that's all the power of the brain. How do we manage those moments? How do we perform under pressure? So sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Roger Federer said, if this is the way you apply learning, you will never get to the top. It's not sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. It's sometimes you win and always you learn. You understand the concept? Always you learn. It's not just because of failure that you learn, but also when you win, you should always learn and put yourself into questions. So sometimes you win, but always you learn. The objective is what can I do to improve? Top players are addicted to progress. The addiction is not results. We cannot succeed. We cannot win all the games. The real addiction is addicted to progress. I'm convinced that tomorrow I will probably, because of the experience with you tonight, 1 hour, that's for me unusual. I'm not used to teach and to transmit knowledge. I'm used to coach, to prepare for real competition, real World Cups, real Olympics. So you will be my players for one evening, for 1 hour. Let's say that this is the briefing before big competition. So for me, I hope that because of that experience, tomorrow I will learn and I will grow and I will become better because of you, because of the stretch of this evening. You never grow in your comfort zone. You grow because you are getting out of your comfort zone. And today, with my jacket here, with my nice shirt up in Seat, in an amphi, that's out of my comfort zone. Not that I'm afraid by you, but this is not for me normal. I should wear my sports gears, my sport equipment. I should feel much more comfortable. But we grow because we accept to get out of our comfort zone. So my contribution to performance today is analyzing the mind game, analyzing the non-technical and non-physical part of performance. How can we better manage the brain? You study, you are students, you enter in the room for the examination, and you know that even if you know the content, maybe stress can put you under pressure and in danger. How do we manage that? So it's all about the mind game. When we divide energy, we divide mental, emotional, and spiritual. So mainly there are we call that the energy tripod. Maybe good to start with the energy tripod. What means the energy tripod? You always compose a tripod. This is the initial tripod, 3 legs, like a tabouret, 3 legs. This is not a tripod. That's not a tripod. So, but on 1 leg, you are never stable. On 2 legs, it's not stable. From 3 legs, you stabilize. So we are constantly looking, how can we reinforce the 3 legs? So the energy tripod is composed out of 3 legs. 1 leg is the IQ part, the technical part, smart, technique, that's the mental part. You need to be smart to win the game. You need to apply the right tactic, make the right choice. So I did coach in my life some stupid players. It's difficult because they are motivated, they are physically fit, but they never make the right choice at the right moment. You play against Rafael Nadal, and of course, coaching players against Nadal, we say, if you stay on the baseline, he will kill you, he will destroy you. So you need to be creative and offensive. And the guy is staying on the baseline. So even if you are a good player, you will die because you don't play the right tactic. So the IQ part is important. But the second part is the EQ part, the EQ part, the emotional battery. Of course, my mental energy, my brain, being smart is key, but managing my feelings is also so key. Stress management, playing together, trust, self-confidence. It's all about the emotional part of the game. So don't confuse mental, smart, intelligence, focus, capacity to make the right choice, and emotions, feelings. That's something else. The brain, the power of the brain, and the power of the heart. And then you have the third leg, which is the physical one, the PHQ, physical energy. Those are the 3 basic pillars. So when we coach athletes, we always check, do they have the technical capability, mental, but this could be also technical capability? Do they make the right choice? Do they take too much risk when they are skiing? Maybe well. Emotional energy, trust, self-confidence, motivation, engagement, managing stress, and the physical part. Am I fit or not? What is interesting that when you look at the tripod here, when you push on the tripod, there is always one axis that will fail. Which one? Which one? Always the weakest. And the weakest is different for all individuals. When I push on Luca, it will not have the same impact if I push on Wei Kong or Gregory, because maybe they don't have the same weakness. Today, Roger Federer didn't play the Australian Open. What is the weakest axis of Roger Federer? Physical. The guy got injured on his knee, so he's not playing for the last 7 months, 7, 8 months. So if you have to reinforce the weakest axis of Roger, it will be the physical one. I was watching yesterday a movie, the story of Zinedine Zidane. You know Zinedine Zidane? For those who don't know Zinedine Zidane, he's a famous French player. He was the best football player of the world 10, 15 years ago. The last game of his career, he played the final of the World Cup, France against Italy. And what happens with Zinedine Zidane 15 minutes before the end of the game? Emotional. Good bull. football headbutt to Materazzi. And in red card, he has been disqualified, and France lose the final, and Italy is world champion. What is the weakest axis of Zinedine Zidane? Emotional, self-control. Of course, Materazzi is not a good player. The only chance for Materazzi, the Italian guy, to eliminate Zidane is to provoke Zidane. And Zidane reacts, and Italy win the World Cup. You are as strong as your weakest battery. It's not your best battery, mental, emotional, physical, that will help you to perform. The weakest one will fail under pressure. So when you ask me how to manage energy under pressure, check and identify first what is your weakest battery. If I have to coach Zinedine Zidane, of course, I will not coach Zinedine Zidane on the technical part, and I will not coach Zinedine Zidane on the physical part. The guy is solid, he's physically, technically skilled, physically fit, but I will coach him on the emotional part. If we have to replay the final of the World Cup, we coach him on the physical, on the mental, emotional part, to say, guy, the only chance for Materazzi to beat you is to eliminate you, is to provoke you. And there you prepare the game. You see my point? What is your weakest axis? You should also constantly check, under pressure, do I fail mentally? Lack of focus, lack of concentration, lack of capacity of global view? Do I fail emotionally, aggressivity, irritability, stress? Do I fail physically, burnout, fatigue, illness? So that's the key element. When you don't know what is your weakest axis, then you are in trouble. So managing energy under pressure is first identify what is my strength and where is my weakness. I am as strong as my weakest axis. That's one of the key learning of top sport. I am as strong as my weakest axis. That's for the three basic pillars. And of course, it's a tripod. And a tripod means that there is a summit to the tripod, like a pyramid. So we can draw here the pyramid, and here we have the three other axes. And the summit of the pyramid is what we call the SQ. What is SQ? What is SQ? That was a question. Do they have the right to talk or not? Of course. What means SQ? Yes, yes.
I'm gonna guess, but I guess it's social.
Not social quotient. But it's a good guess. Thank you. That's audacity, boldness. Not social. What else?
Does it have something to do with spirit? Like
yes, it's the spiritual axis. The power of the spirit, spiritual axis, the spiritual energy. It's all about the question, the sense. Some people call that the sense axis. Why do I do what I do? Why do I do what I do? Why did I decide to come and to join you tonight, this evening? Why did I decide to come and to join the session? Why do I do what I do? This power of sense. When you know why, you will accept anyhow. So the sustainable energy is coming from what we call the backbone. You see the center of the tripod is like a backbone. And that backbone is my research for the last 20 years. How do we compose and how do we reinforce a backbone? Why do you do what you do? As long as you didn't identify the why, it will be difficult to manage pressure and to manage stress. When you know why, you are much more stable under pressure. So the why is very powerful. Why did you join INSEAD? Why do you sacrifice your best years to come in this difficult situation? Why? When we know, sometimes I have to coach my players on the why. The three basic axes are well done. IQ is super strong, super smart, emotionally motivated, physically fit, but the why is not clear. The why could be based on the giving sense to my life, to my career, to my future. Yes?
Is it kind of like intuition that you train by having all these skills around where you want to go?
Yes, when we refer to the why, the name is Gregory? Dimitri. So when you refer to the why, don't look at the why at the end of your life. What will be your legacy, or would you like to be remembered, and so, blah, blah, blah. That's too far. Guys, focus on the 2-3 coming years, maximum 3. If I project myself in 3 years, where would I like, what could make me proud of in 3 years? And that could give you the sense. So don't go too far. But sometimes you need some external coaching to help you to clarify the why. Why do I do what I do? Why did I decide to join this course, this program, to stay here, and so on? When you know the why, you will accept any hope. That's really a basic foundation. So what we observe today is that people under stress, under pressure, are much more fragile when the why, the spiritual quotient, is not strong. A strong backbone will help you really to be solid. A weak backbone, and then you will be in danger. And then we have another axis, the last one, that have been really stretched by the pandemic, because we call that the agility quotient, the AQ. The agility quotient is transverse, my capacity to grow and to adapt, my capacity to change. So of course we differentiate here agility, that's the highest level, agility. Agility means proactivity. When you are agile, you anticipate, proactive, anticipation, anticipate. The lower level, mid-level is flexibility. In my Olympic team, I have some players which are agile, proactive, they anticipate, they come with ideas, they say innovation, creativity, we could do that, we could change that. The next time we organize a health week in 2023, this is what we could change. Those guys are really agile, ready to jump for something better. Flexible, that's for the followers. They will not produce any added value or idea, they will bring you support. So this is really for people which are reactive. But we need flexible people which are supporting. But that's reactive, this is more for the followers. Real leaders are always in agility mode. They say, okay, what went wrong this year during the health week? What can we improve for the next time? That, okay, we don't see the video, something is going wrong. Agility makes that you can bounce higher, you bounce fast. That's resilience. Flexibility, we adapt, we suffer, we endure. That's flexibility. Flexibility is less energizing. And then we have the lowest level, which is rigidity. Rigidity, that's for passive people. Oh, you organize a health week. Thank you, Dimitri. Thank you, Wei Kong. Thank you, Luca, Nacho, and so on. But you know, that anyway, that will not change anything. So it's a kind of fatalism, resignation. Thank you to do that. But those guys, they don't contribute. That's really resistance and passivity. We don't go to the Olympic Games with rigid people. We need open-minded. We need a mix of agile people, drivers, boosters, but with some people which are also supportive followers. Where are you today? The classic rigidity is, oh, coach, you are using a tablet to teach. Probably there are many professors here still using PowerPoint. I believe it still happens, PowerPoint. Some other professors or coaches are using the tablet to make it more interactive. The professors, I don't blame. I say, okay, if you feel comfortable in that way to animate, the key element is that do you transmit a good message? Do you catch the right message? So some people will say, oh, using a tablet, okay, it's nice, but they will always come back with that yes, but mentality. You know, the famous yes, okay, it's nice, but. And they will always find excuses not to use and to turn into the new technology. The flexible people, it's always wait and see. Wait and see. Oh, using a tablet, why not? But let's see first if Luca is able to use that. And if well, then maybe I will follow. And the proactive guys, those are motivated. Okay, let's go, let's try. My champions are always in the last category. Let's go, let's try. And even if we fail, we will learn from the failure. Because we take the time for feedback, for learning. We transform every event, every happening into a learning. That was at 7 o'clock, that was a happening. That happening can be transformed into learning, and then we grow. So you transform failures and mistakes into opportunities for growth. So I'm not afraid to fail because I know that I will learn from it. Yes?
Yes, it seems like in all quotients you can improve or you can work on them. So in physical, emotional, spiritual. But what with the IQ? It doesn't seem like if this is your weakest link, it's very hard to change that.
So the main point on IQ is focus. Focus your brain. What is really killing the brain is dispersion. You have too much in your backpack, too many things to do. And there is a dispersion of attention, dispersion of energy. This is killing performance. So my first recommendation is if you want to improve your brain and your efficiency, reduce the number of tasks and focus on the priorities. So I join you today and I come with a backpack. So to come today, I was checking, do I need that? To come today to teach? Maybe not. Do I need this one? Maybe not. Do I need that one? Oh, double. No, that's too much. So probably the more I will lighten my backpack, the faster I will move and the higher I climb. Many people, they have too much in their backpack. Kids, they have too much in the backpack. So if you ask me, how do you intensify the intellectual power? Focus, focus, focus. Too much. Then when there is too much on the plate, guys, you will never reach the top. Simple, keep it simple and visible. Simplicity and visibility. So sometimes we need really, when I buy, for example, I don't know, Mekong, you have shoes, yes. When Mekong is buying a new pair of shoes, what do? You come back at home and you put a new pair of shoes in your wardrobe. Of course, to maintain the balance, you should remove one pair of shoes. Do you remove one pair of shoes? Do you remove a shirt? It's always more and more and more. At a certain moment, the brain is fatigued. And so we need constantly to manage the focus. Top champions, you know, how do we call the champions? We call them trimmers. Champions are trimmers. Trimmers. Trim the tree. What means trim? Trim the tree. What means trim?
To cut off.
Trimmers. If you want to grow a tree, you want to have a nice big tree, what do you do with a tree? You trim the tree, you cut the tree. By cutting, you improve. The focus is doing less for more. So when I coach somebody, I don't coach, if I have to coach Luca to become better for the next time, I will not coach him to do more. I will coach him to do less. What we will stop to do? You improve because you do less with more intensity and more quality. That's my first recommendation on the brain, on the IQ part. Avoid dispersion. Focus, focus, focus. In sport, usually when there is a focus, we clarify focus is always linked to what we call the magic tree. The magic tree, maximum 3 priorities. Maximum 3 things on your to-do list. The golden medal, the silver, and the bronze. There are not 5 places on the podium, only 3. Focus, focus, focus. Today, I will explain maybe 1, 2, or 3 models, 1 or 3 topics. That's it. I don't need to explain more, 2 or 3 topics. Maybe we can make a test and evaluate your tripod. I did prepare a pulse. So let's move to the pulse. Energy tripod. Here. This one. You should. I'm interested to evaluate your tripod. So please take your phone, you go on the website www.menti.com and you enter the code. And please evaluate your tripod today. What is your weakest battery? What is your strength and what is your weakest battery? Okay, so we should get the votes online and the votes on site. Thank you. Got a first vote.
The more means the more we suffer from that, or the higher we estimate ourselves as.
No, you estimate yourself. Today, mentally, I feel strong. Emotionally, I feel quite vulnerable. Physically, I'm exhausted. Spiritually, okay, it's good. 9 on 10, I know why. Evaluate yourself. Be honest. Did you vote? Okay, so we have already 25, 30 votes. You know Mentimeter? We use that a lot in sport, Mentimeter. That gives us a direct pulse in the players, in the team, 10, 15, 20 people. Okay, guys, how do you feel? Are you feeling exhausted, energized? And here we have the scanning of the team. I have 60 votes, okay? So that's the average. So this is showing what is living in this team. So depending on the results, my coaching will be different. So I can orientate my coaching and see if all my players are physically exhausted, okay, we reduce the intensity of training, we give them 1 or 2 days off. So the way we measure, the more you pulse, the more you make a survey, you ask, the more you know what's happening in the team. So if you coach players, if you are playing with a team, pulse and pulse and pulse and scan. So here I see that 7.2 is a good score, but there is a dispersion. Huh? I see that there is a kind of mental fatigue for some of you, but the majority is quite high, so 7.2 is a good score. We believe, we evaluate that 7 and above is a normal score for a top level of performance, stable performance. Between 5 and 7 is point of attention. Close to 5 and below is urgency. Guys, we have really a big weakness, we need to act on it. So I see here that the lowest score is on the emotional part, but again, a big stretch. So I don't want to interpret it too much, just to show you that this is representing what is living in the room, plus outside, how many people, we have 64 votes, which is quite nice. Spiritually, why do you know what you do? If I have to coach this individual, I should work on this one. 6.4 on the spiritual axis, that's too low. Guys, that should be 9 on 10, 10 on 10. If your backbone is weak or vulnerable, no chance to maintain sustainable performance. Sustainable performance depends on the backbone. Punctual performance depends on your body, your mind, and your heart. But sustainable performance, perseverance, determination, that's all on the backbone. So if I have to coach such an athlete, I should coach this one to bring that to 7, 8, 9 on 10. And then I should work on the weakness, probably on the emotional part. Does it make sense for you? You see my point? Good. First measurement. Thank you. That's the first tripod. Let's see. Sit. Okay. I come back. Stop sharing. Share again. Okay. That's about the energy tripod. And then we have a second tripod, because top level of sustainable performance and delivery depends on energy and time. So we have also a time tripod. And the time tripod is complementary to the energy tripod, the time tripod. How do we evaluate the time tripod? All those tools are coming from top sport. Huh? Those are top sport experiences. Today, I started coaching tennis for the last, yes, that was 40, 45 years ago. And 15 years ago, I moved to team coaching, and I'm working for the Belgian Olympic Committee as mental coach. And I started coaching 10 years ago, the Belgian hockey team. You know hockey? Hockey on grass? Hockey on the synthetic grass, not hockey on ice, field hockey. And the Belgian team was top 20 10 years ago, top 10 5 years ago, top 3 years ago. And in Tokyo, I was not with them at that moment. I was in Beijing. I was in Tokyo, in London in 2012 for the Olympics. They won the Olympic gold. So today the team is Olympic champion, world champion, #1. So it all starts with how do we manage pressure? In Rio, the team lost in the final against Argentina. So we won the silver medal, but we lost gold because under pressure, we could not win the gold medal. Learnings, and 4 years later, playing the final against Australia, the team won the gold medal. So it's all about learning. Sometimes you need to fail before you succeed. So don't be disappointed with failure if you can match the learning point. The time tripod was key for my players. Time is divided in two big main categories of time consumption. On one side, the business time. For you is the learning time, the school, business time. For my athletes, it will be the way they deal the time between the club time, playing for the club, Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid, Manchester United, and the national team, because they play for the club and the national team. So that's the way they manage their professional time. The business time, for you, it will be between school, studies, and on the other side, maybe you have a side job where you have to make money. So this is your business time. On the other side, there is the private time. Private time, and private time is for family, friends, colleagues, and so on. And in the between here, we have the me time. What is not consumed for the studies, the school, what is not consumed for friends and family, then that's for me. And that's the personal time, my hobbies, my passion. And we need also time to recover our energy on the personal time. The more the business time is demanding or the private time is demanding, the less time you have for yourself. So it's key at a certain moment that you avoid to enter in the junk time. Because what means junk time? Junk time, that means that even personal times is polluted by emails, by connection, over connection. You are watching a movie and you are surfing on LinkedIn. You are with friends, but you are answering your emails. And that's junk time. Because that time really is not time where you fully recover. So today it's important for my players, for you, that we have time of connection and time of disconnection. There is a video that I made a few months ago about how can we connect and disconnect, the power of disconnection. To recharge our battery, we need also to disconnect. Sometimes the only solution is to create the tripod, the time tripod. To avoid this danger is how can we also manage me time? Me time, which is dedicated for you. Stop to feel guilty when you dedicate time for yourself, your hobbies, your passion. We need also me time to recover. That's the energy, that's the time tripod. We dedicate time for the professional part, learning part, school, university. We dedicate time for the friends and family, but we need also the me time. This is all about personal time. Stop to feel guilty when you manage me time. That's key. And some athletes are vulnerable because they are just in between the demands of the business and the demand of the friends. And there you will be lost in between the two. So this is all about energy management, personal energy under pressure. How can I reinforce my tripod? And how can I better manage my time? With those elements, you can really start and enter in managing high level of pressure. And then we enter in the last part, which is much more dedicated. How can I recharge my batteries? And how can I expose myself to also grow? If you want to grow your body, your biceps, you need to expose, you practice. If you want to grow your brain, you need to expose your brain to new language, new learnings, new concepts, new topics. So the more you expose yourself, the more you grow. you never grow in your comfort zone. So we developed many tools and methodologies for that part. On one side, let's say that on one side here, let's say sometimes we recover energy and sometimes we spend energy. So my challenge today is how to better balance energy expenses. You can compare energy like money on a bank account. Sometimes we put money on our bank account. Sometimes we make withdrawals and we spend our money. The same with energy. This evening, during 1 hour, I spent my energy to share my passion and some tools with you. Some other moments, I recover my energy because of nutrition, sleep, and so on. So there are moments to spend energy and moments to recover energy. So here it's all about withdrawals of energy, withdrawals, consuming energy, withdrawals, expenses. And on the other side, we have the recovery part, deposits of energy on your bank account. Deposits, recharges of energy. So we did analyze the model to say, how can we, on one side, amplify exposure? Because of course, if you want to, we are in France, and in 2 years, there will be the next Olympic Games will be in Paris. Some of you are maybe involved in swimming, athletics. All of you, you can pretend to participate to the Olympic Games. If you want to run the marathon, you just have to make the minima. You know what means the minima? Olympic minima. If you are able to run 3 official competitions for the men in less than 2 hours and 12 minutes, you will be qualified for the Olympics. For the ladies, it's 2 hours and 21 minutes. If you are able to do that, you are qualified. And there will be 300, 400, 500 people who will participate because they will make the minimum. If tomorrow Dimitri wants to participate to the Olympic marathon, of course, I will train Dimitri. And what will we do? Will we reduce the red zone? And say, Dimitri, if you want to be ready in 3 years, please don't use too much energy in your legs. And we will see Dimitri keeping the energy in the legs. Is that the way we develop? You never develop in your comfort zone. So it's not by reducing red that you grow. If Dimitri wants to go to Paris and ready for the Olympic marathon, what will you do, Gregory? Dimitri?
I'll run more.
Yes, 2, 3, 4 times a week. The guy will go for a run. He will go for more. He will go for more stretch, more pressure. And that's key. So of course we stretch our people, but we stretch with sense. Why do you accept to make 2, 3 times a week full training? Because of your Olympic dream. The why is the key. If there is no why should I train? Yeah, for the money, because the teacher, the coach impose? No, the Olympic dreams make you run. You see the concept of the why? When the why is clear and visible, energy is there. And you manage pressure and stress and vulnerability. So the fact is that my role is how can I increase rate to develop my players mentally, physically, learning a new language. Dimitri, maybe using the tablet for your next presentation to the class. Wow, that's stretch. That's red. Is it red or is it green? I don't know, but it's stretch. You never grow in your comfort zone. If we put a cast on the legs of Dimitri, what will be the consequence? You put a cast and say, during 3 months before the Olympics, we protect the legs so we keep all the energy in the legs. And the day of the competition, we put the cast off. What will be the reaction? Collapse. So don't reduce the red part. Exposure means growth. That's key. Exposure here, exposure means growth. Exposure means growth on one side. If you just manage comfort, You continue to practice 1 or 2 times a year. Comfort means status quo. You keep your capacity, you don't grow. If you put a cast, protection, mental protection, physical, emotional protection means atrophy. You atrophy the capacity. So that's the reality. So the role today of the manager is how can I increase the red part with less pain, the feeling of pain. And the feeling of pain depends on 4 what we call the painkillers. So we provide to the players painkillers. Painkillers, what reducing the feeling of pain. What do you think? What are the painkillers? What could reduce the pain that you go for 3 times a week running?
Stronger muscle.
First one, sense, Dimitri. Why do I need to go 3 times a week for a run? Because of my Olympic dream. The second is focus. During the run, you focus on the number of steps, your breathing and so on. If you don't have focus, you just run like a chicken without any brain. The third one, if you get support during that effort, probably because of the support, because of the coach, because of the friends, you get much more energy to continue. And the fourth one, which is reducing pain, is praise. Wow, he did it, he did practice. Do I get recognition, support, but recognition, celebration from my colleagues? So he did it, Dimitri. So applause for Dimitri. Guys, he did it. Come on, let's support him. So this is the key element. This is the painkillers. If there is no sense, no focus, no support, no praise, you kill the motivation of going out of your comfort zone. So we can push our athletes out of the comfort zone, but we constantly manage the 4 painkillers. This is key. Does it make sense for you? That concept, we call that the painkillers. Of course, we stretch. This is stretch. We stretch our athletes, but we stretch and they know why the stretch. So giving sense, during the stretch, giving focus, providing coaching, providing support. This is the key element. On the other side, this is the element of recovery. How can we recharge our batteries? So when we look at energy on one side, this is energy, NRG. This is energy for delivery, for performance, the power of sense, the power of focus, the power of support. And on the other side is energy for recovery. I was listening to Rafael Nadal this morning. You know that Rafael Nadal won in the quarterfinal. He qualified for the semifinal in Australia, but the guy was disappointed. He won, but he won in 5 sets and 5 hours. And he says, my body, I'm exhausted. And maybe I will not recover fast enough to be ready on Friday, on Thursday for the semifinal. So the challenge is not that he did survive the race and he won at the end of the race, but the fact that maybe he will miss some green to recover. Because when you stretch and you go deep in energy consumption, you need also to increase green, of course. So when you manage red, you need also to manage green. So the key element is how can we increase green? We stretch to grow, but we increase the recharges. What are the main sources of energy? Those are the 7 main sources of energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. What are the 7 sources of energy? How do you recharge your batteries?
Sleep, nutrition.
Sleep is energy source number 1. Maybe, of course, we know, but we don't underestimate the impact of sleep. Sleep represents 40%, 40% of your daily energy comes from sleep. Minimum 7 hours per night. Minimum. You can survive with less than 7. But with less than 7, don't pretend to be fully mentally, emotionally, and physically recharged. 7 hours, that's the minimum. So sleep is the energy source number 1 by far. 40% of energy comes from sleep. What is energy source number 2? Please? Food, nutrition. Nutrition includes food, drinks, oxygen, natural light. Food, nutrition represent 25% of your daily energy. It means that if you have a bad quality of sleep and bad quality of nutrition, you waste 60% of your potential energy. What do you do to compensate? You start taking doping products and you start drinking caffeine. Like the athlete there, I see caffeine. You know that in 1 cup of coffee, you have 100 milligrams. You know what is the limit, Olympic limit? 250 milligrams. 2 cups of coffee and you are just below the limit. 3 cups of coffee and you are above the limit. But I know many people taking doping products to compensate a lack of natural energy. Sleeping pills to improve the sleep. Coffee to improve concentration and focus. Antidepressor to improve the mood. Pills to improve the memory. Guys, this is doping and could be dangerous if you maintain that doping product for a long time. So 1, sleep, 2, nutrition, 3, what is the third source of energy? The body needs to sleep, the body needs to eat, the body needs to move, exercise, physical activity. Physical activity is a key element for maintaining high level of energy, but only if it's regular. If Dimitri goes for 1 week training and then 2 weeks off and then again 1 week training, then it's a red. It's consuming energy. But when it's regular, it's recharging the batteries. What is requested when you are around 2025, you need minimum 2.3, 2.5 hours per week of physical practice to maintain your capability. 2.5 hours per week. 2.5 hours per week. The indicator is sweating. If you don't sweat, it's promenade. Sweating is the indicator. 2.5 hours per week is the minimum at your age to maintain your capacity. With 2.5, you don't decline. You don't grow, you maintain. It's minimum 2.5 hours per week. That's what the body needs to be activated. Body need to sleep, body need to eat, body need to move. What else? 4, 5, 6, and 7. What are the other sources of energy? Maybe it's the first time you will be teach on the green part. Unbelievable. That should be part of the studies for kids at 14 years. Yes, natural.
Socializing.
Please?
Social.
Yes. Number 4, social contacts. Friends, family. That's recharging the emotional battery. That's number 4. What else?
Meditation.
Please?
Meditation.
Yes. That's the number 5. We call that's part of the me time. Me time, personal time. For some people, it will be meditation, yoga, jacuzzi, sauna. There are passive relaxation, like jacuzzi, sauna, meditation, and active, like yoga, gardening, biking, golfing, and so on. Okay, that's 5. 6 and 7.
Nature.
Please?
Nature. Being in nature.
Connected with nature. Yeah, but that's part of the me time, the personal time. That's not generic for all people.
Does switching activity also is it included in the me time? Because there's like a
Which
switching activity, like when you want to rest from something.
no, that's part of the number 6. The number 6 is mental satisfaction, switching from one activity to another activity. Mental satisfaction is Luca, you will make the introduction. Wow, I'm proud. That gives me extra energy, mental satisfaction, the recognition that I receive. So that's number 6. And what is number 7? The last source of energy. How do we recharge physically, emotionally, mentally?
Hobbies or outside interests?
Please?
Hobbies? Like things you
Hobby,
like
that's
about-
me time.
Okay.
Personal time, that's hobbies.
Stretching.
Stretching. What do you mean? That's physical. That's physical.
Is it support from the others? Like, did we?
That's social contacts.
Reflecting.
Please?
Reflecting.
Relaxing.
Reflecting.
Reflecting.
Reflecting, that's meditation, personal time. The number 7 is laughing. Rire, lachen, laughing. We need to laugh. So laughing is really an energy recharge. Kids need that. A good ambiance, fun ambiance. Laughing is the number 7. You understand laughing?
Yes.
Yeah? It's not love, huh? It's love. But we need that, managing good ambiance, 7 sources of energy. Do you activate the 7 sources of energy? I'm not sure. And 7 sources of energy, this is really 7 sources of energy, 7 sources of energy. We activate for our players all sources of energy. We stretch our people, but they know also that on the other side, we will give them a lot of support to recharge. We stretch plus recharge. And so that makes ample waves. So of course, the stretch makes that make waves. We call that the law of vital oscillation. Vital oscillation. If you want to reinforce, if you want to grow, we need to oscillate between exposure on one side and recovery on the other side. If you want to grow your biceps, you need to expose, you take a weight. Let's say, where is a weight? That's a weight. Wow, that's 5 kilos. And because of the weight, pressure, recovery. Pressure on my biceps, recovery. So it's always that vital oscillation between moments of pressure and moments of recovery. We should oscillate with ample waves. That's the key element. Make the wave ample. Ample waves. You know, the more the wave is ample, the stretch, the red stretch and the green recovery is large, the more we are healthy. When you go at the hospital for a medical checkup and you look at the screen, you see the beep, you know, the heart beep, and you see the beep, 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 it's good. It's a positive signal. When you reduce the amplitude of the beep and you get closer to the beep, it's a very bad signal. So it's all about make ample waves. If you want to manage pressure, if you want to manage your energy, expose yourself with the painkillers to reduce pain and recharge your batteries with the 7 sources of energy. Guys, it's 7 o'clock. We start on time, that's sport. We finish on time and my page is full. So I don't want to prolong. I think that with those elements on personal energy management, everything there is under control. It's up to you to manage the painkillers. It's up to you to manage the energy sources. It's up to you to manage your tripod. It's up to you to manage your time. Everything is under control. Up to you to manage it. All the best. Thank you.
So I just wanted to share with you guys and to everyone on Zoom, we have 3 main events tomorrow. The first event is at 12:30 by Pierre Chandon, where he will be talking about aligning health, business, and eating pleasure. Our second event is a mindfulness session at 5 p.m. And finally, we have also a boxing session in the fitness center. So if you want to join either the mindfulness session or the fitness session, just come in. It's open to everyone. And we will be waiting for you here, same time at 12:30, sorry, for the conference. Thank you very much.
Mindfulness for the mind, the brain, and boxing for the body. And what will activate the heart, the emotion part tomorrow?
That's how we have it in the end.
That's for next year. Maybe every day we activate one exercise that activates brain, mindfulness, boxing the body, and what? Something for the emotion, something to find that we can always work on the tripod.
Massage is on the first day, so maybe that.
Massage, why not? That could be emotion. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming.